G'day, Nick Thorley from the photography department of Melbourne Polytechnic. When I was a student, I got loading a 35mm film camera wrong. I carried a camera around for a very long time, a camera that wasn't winding film, and I was quite devastated actually. I was really disappointed. I should have known. I didn't know how to check. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to get it right. I'm going to show you how to check it fail-safe and get it done. Now, if you're not thoroughly familiar with your camera and how to load film, it's a good idea to have a practice. Okay, so I'm going to make a practice canister out of this, and this is an obviously useless strip of color negative film. Now when you buy your film, it is attached to the spool, but I'm going to put a tab of tape on there. So if you're going to make one of these, be sure to label it and not get it mixed up and think that it is film you can shoot with. Some of the cameras like a bit of a taper on here, helps you load it. Alright, that's in. Wonderful. Roll of film. Now, before loading your film, you want to check your camera. Use a Pentax K1000. So lift that up, pops the back open. Now, this is your shutter, curtain shutter, which is shut. You want to be able to observe that loading and observe the rotation of the take-up spool here, and observe it firing. You can test a few shutter speeds. That's 1 second. The spring actually sounds a little weak on this camera at about 1 second. That could be a bit slow. You might want to keep that in mind if your camera was like this. B for bulb. Bulb is nice. Hold your finger on the button with B, bulb mode. This is a good chance you look through the camera while it is open. There, you can see right through it. Scroll your aperture around. Makes a difference to how it looks, because the aperture only stops down when the shutter is open. Now you can make sure that's happening by setting it to a small shutter, opening it, and you can see it's a small hole. And if you're holding the shutter open, you can even adjust it during exposure. Then when you release, look through the viewfinder and you'll see the aperture is wide open again. So you need to see that the camera is stopping the lens down to your set aperture when the shutter is open. And they generally, when not exposing, the aperture is then wide open to make it easier to see through the viewfinder and find focus. So I'm going to drop my film in. Got the pimple end down. Lock it in, drag that across. Then I'm going to load it in here. I'm going to insert that tail as far as I can, because I do want it to poke out the other side. Now I'm going to wind it, take it up. Now here's where the winding is going to fold that film back, and that's going to make it locked in. Now when winding, winders can fail, particularly on these cameras. The winders are weak. You need to observe the rotation here. I know that film is winding. I know it is drawing out of the cartridge and across your shutter plane, because I can see this rotating.